Hello. The Bible is not short on follows. Jesus was always calling on people to follow. A whole lot of Bible stories, just as we heard on Sunday, end with those familiar words, and Jesus said, "Follow me." He said it to Simon, Peter, and Andrew while they were casting nets into the sea. He said it to James and John while they were mending their nets. Matthew was sitting in a tax booth. Saul was sitting blinded on a dusty road. Follow. And sometimes we hear that word explicitly, and other times it was implied. Come and see, Jesus would say, or go and do likewise, or go into all the world. No matter how you phrase it, the call is still the same. Follow. But how, right? Most of us, I'm sure, would find it very hard to leave work and family and friends and all the rest to venture into such an uncertain future like those first disciples did. Does that mean we're less faithful than Andrew and Peter and James and John? I hope that's not what the gospel's telling us about following. I think it says that we follow Jesus in particular and distinct ways that may or may not be like the first disciples. Perhaps we follow by becoming teachers. Perhaps we follow by volunteering at the Elder Center. Perhaps we follow by looking out for those in our schools who always seem to be on the outside and inviting them to sit at our table. Perhaps we follow by doing a job we love as best we can to help others. Or perhaps we follow by doing a job we hate, but which contributes to supporting our family and helping others. Perhaps we follow by being generous with our wealth and with our time. Perhaps we follow by listening to those around us and responding with encouragement and care. Perhaps we follow by caring for an aging parent or a special needs child or somebody else who needs our care. You get the idea. There are any number of distinct ways we can follow Jesus and follow him right now, here and now in the world and time in which we live. What seems to be at the heart of the matter is that we can follow Jesus in all these different situations and circumstances precisely by trying to imitate him, by trying, that is, to treat others with the same respect and love and patience that he did. I think that's at the heart of what it means to be a Christian, to try to live and treat others as Jesus did, embracing the values of inclusiveness and love and forgiveness and healing that he radiated in word and deed. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying we save ourselves by these deeds. I mean, we're invited into and promised a place in the Christian community, only by the grace of God, apart from any effort or merit on our own. But at the same time, I think the day-to-day joy and growth we experience from being welcomed into the household of God is affected by whether or not we try to live into the identity we've been given. God will always treat us as a beloved child. Yet whether we act like a beloved child of God and receive the joy of acting like one, that depends greatly on whether we try to follow Jesus day by day and live into the gift of that identity. So the point's not about being better disciples, but it's about knowing and experiencing Jesus more deeply by following him. That's how we grow. Now, the journey of following has its ups and downs. We fail. No one knows that better than Peter. Leaving his life as a fisher behind, he eagerly accepted his new life as a fisher of people. But as we know, Peter would be asked over and over to contemplate that initial decision. Whenever he tried to walk on water but found himself sinking instead, or when he was sitting in a garden denying that he ever knew Jesus, or at the fellowship dinner at dinner at Antioch, either because of religious pride or personal prejudice, when he and some other Jewish Christians formed a separate table apart from the Gentile Christians. Peter knew what it was like to fall way short. But Jesus never lost faith in him, and Jesus never loses faith in us. Jesus called his disciples to get up from what they were doing and to follow him. He promised them new life. He said that they would actually find their lives when they got up from what they were doing and moved into a new future, characterized by giving life away. That's our secret. The promise is surprise, challenge, and through it all, life. So, wherever you are, it's a new day out there on that beach. And no matter how many times you think you disappointed God or yourself or others, Jesus is always there with an outstretched arm, offering yet one more personally engraved invitation. Follow. It's a lifetime pursuit. See you soon.